Hello, hello, and welcome to Keep Calm for Moms, where we talk about what it means to parent the next generation with grace and ease. I am Dr. Pamela Ellis, the education doctor, and I am so thrilled to see you today and to have you join in for this very special show. So, for those of you who are joining me for the first time, I want to share a little bit about my background. My firm, Compass College Advisory, serves families with educational services through their schools and their employers. And our proprietary framework for college readiness is called Keep Calm. The CALM stands for College and Accelerated Leadership Methodology. There are 5 pillars to keep calm, and they are academic, social, financial, vocational, and cultural. And one of the things, I should say that we believe that the glue that holds it all together in terms of our framework in those pillars is parent engagement. And so I think that for those of you who've joined me before, you know that I have 3 children. I have 2 sons and a daughter. And one of the things that drove me to the work that I do is just my concern around my sons and them having a place within the educational system that, supported their success and nurtured their success. And so when I became a mom, I was just obsessed with schooling and figuring that all out. And what led me to going back to Stanford to get my doctorate degree was answering some questions around Black males in education and how to support their success. And so this really warms my heart today to talk about this, question around how do we prepare our sons for college and beyond. And so I have my guest today is Dashawn Cribbs from Urban Prep Academies in Chicago. And I have been following them since their inception and all of the great work that they're doing there in Chicago. And so many of you may not know as well that in my own practice of working with students over the years, it's about 60 to 70% male. And so I don't know how that came about, but that's been the case for a number of years now that I have mostly males that I work with each and every year. And so Dashawn is going to come on and tell us a little bit more about what they're doing at Urban Prep Academies. And I know sometimes, our teens are like, no, I don't want to go to a school where it's all boys or all girls. And there are some good reasons for that. So I'm going to bring Dashawn on. Dashawn, where are you? So this is just one of those things. We're having one of those technology days.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm here bright and early.
Okay, so Dashawn, tell us a little bit about you and what you do at Urban Prep Academies.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Dashawn Cribbs. Sorry about that. From the South Side of Chicago, Inglewood to be exact. Born and raised in Chicago. I recently graduated from Georgetown University in the pandemic in May 2020, majoring in African American Studies and minored in psychology. I currently work as an admission officer and a student recruiter at Urban Prep Academies. I also am an alumnus of Urban Prep Academies. While here at Urban Prep, I was a 3-sport athlete, football, track and field, and wrestling. I was also part of the student government here. I graduated at the top of my class. I was able to win the Gates Millennium Scholarship, which is a full ride for the recipient to go to any 4-year college or university for their undergraduate career. And then if they want to further their career in certain fields, it will also be covered too. So I've had, as I call them, brothers. We call our classmates brothers at Urban Prep. I have brothers who have also received the opportunity and going to get their master's and doctoral degrees. So that's a little bit about me.
Okay, that was real fast, Dashawn, but that's okay. I just want you to slow it down a little bit
Gotcha.
because if it's not fast for everyone else, it's fast for me.
You got it.
So, yes, and I guess we should say too, that's how we connected because my oldest is at Georgetown, and I've heard about you, Dashawn, over the years. And so it was great to meet you when I was in Chicago
Yes.
recently. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, so tell us about, just kind of what you do in your role in admissions.
So as an admission officer and student recruiter at Urban Prep, I go out to respective elementary schools within the city, to
Mm-hmm,
get young men to sign up and attend Urban Prep Academies, throughout the South and West sides, within our targeted neighborhoods. And our
mm-hmm,
targeted neighborhoods are Black men or just young
mm-hmm,
men who are looking to get the opportunity to go to college. We go out, we put on events with our admissions department. We also do, I also help within community partnerships
mm-hmm,
within the city of Chicago. We have some community partnerships with Microsoft that teach young men how to code. Also
mm-hmm,
with U Chicago, where young men were able to learn like different techniques after school programs, such as like they have summer programs. I know a lot of young
mm-hmm,
men have learned even like simple things such as CPR and other skills
mm-hmm.
and things for them to be trained to help them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Now, what do you say to those young men who say, I don't want to be around a lot of boys all the time? Where the girls at? I
I
mean, maybe at that age they're not saying that, but
No, they're definitely saying that. The eighth graders are definitely saying that. And I'll tell them I completely understand. I was the same way.
Mhm,
However, I tried to show them the benefits of going to an all male school, which is it's more than just being around a bunch of dudes where you just like, oh, I'm
mhm,
tired of these guys. Where it's more of a bond. It's a brotherhood. When you realize you're putting yourself around men for
mhm,
8 hours of the day to understand like we're
mhm,
doing this for a goal. We're all
mhm,
pushing each other and striving for the same goal, which is the end goal is to get to college and be able to go to college, not only get to college but get through college and perform at a high level. So
mhm,
yeah, it's definitely like I hear it a lot where it's like I don't want to be around guys all day, and I tell them I have the
mhm.
same sentiments. But once you're really in that space and you understand like, oh, this is someone that I can lean on. This is someone I can go
Mhm.
to when I'm going through hardships.
Yeah.
We are, as I said, I'm from Chicago, but specifically from Inglewood, which is known as a very dangerous neighborhood. And Chicago
Mhm.
kids, we grow up fast, so there's a lot
Yeah.
of things we're dealing with, and traumas that we have to deal with. And these are the young men you can lean on, that you're
Mhm,
taking the bus with, who are you're
mhm.
going into your own neighborhood and eventually become best friends. I have a lot of friends from I met when I was in the ninth grade that I still
Yeah.
talk to today. Still going to their
Mhm.
college graduations, still going to their weddings, their
Yeah.
baby showers and things. So we have these deep, long
Mhm,
connections, where it's
mhm.
more than just like, that was a guy that was in my class. Where it's like, oh no, that's a
Yeah.
guy I leaned on, a guy who, made me
Mhm.
share his notes today. I had my head down. I really just understood
Yeah.
what I'm going
Mhm,
through as a Black man and trying to navigate the world that we're all trying to get through, and we're actually helping each other. So yeah, it's very much
mhm,
young men always say,
mhm.
well, do you have parties? Yes, we have homecomings like traditional high schools where other people from different schools can come
Uh-huh.
to. We have
Yeah.
sports like any other traditional high
Mhm,
school where many people are
mhm,
able to attend. And we also just show like the benefit of having that true bond. It very
mhm.
much feels like a fraternity, and you don't even
Yeah.
know it as a ninth grader.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, when you talked about, just, preparing for college, how does the experience at Urban Prep inform the colleges that students choose?
Um, so that's kind of a deep question or a multifaceted question where it's like the experience of it, like education
Mhm.
wise, is letting you know, like at Urban Prep, we're pushing you as hard as we can to make the best you, right? We're not trying to make you
Yeah.
anyone else, but we're trying to make your educational level
Hmm.
as best as it can be for you and help you understand what you're interested
Hmm.
in. A lot of our clubs are centered here around students.
Mm-hmm.
I attended the school, my brother, two of my younger brothers actually attended the school, and my the middle brother, he
Mm-hmm.
is a DJ now and producer. He and his
Mm-hmm.
friends created a DJ club, right? So it was very much like
Mm.
helping young men step into their
Yeah.
own existence, right? Rather than
Yeah.
saying this is what society paints you as and this is what you must follow, but letting young men
Mm-hmm.
know that, hey, this is what society sees you as. However, you
Yeah.
can be whatever you want to be. And that
Mm-hmm.
definitely helps a lot of people, because when you get to college, you're still finding yourself. You're still trying to understand
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to do work, but why am I doing work? What's the drive that I
Yeah.
have behind reading this
Mm-hmm.
16-page, blurb, and actually understanding what it means. So that's
Mm-hmm.
like one experience of it. The other
Mm-hmm.
experience I would say is that we're very much pushing young men in their education, putting things around that are centered around
Mm.
them, to where a lot of the reading that a lot of like literature that I read when I was here was centered
Yeah.
around black men or black authors or black art, whereas
Mm-hmm.
you don't traditionally get that in public schools. You're not learning about
Right.
these different black figures or being
Mm-hmm.
forced to read Malcolm X autobiography. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
before Urban Prep, to me, Malcolm X was just a myth. Whereas like now,
Right.
getting into school and understanding other
Mm-hmm.
black ideas that were
Right.
created, such as Darwinism,
Mm-hmm.
and speaking about Booker T. Washington, understanding like, oh, these were black
Mm.
people that there's a
Yeah.
reason we don't hear about them. However, very much getting into their understandings and their learning very much is a
Mm-hmm.
big part of Urban Prep, and which leaves a bunch of young men going into college with knowledge that they would not receive if they did not attend Urban Prep.
Yeah. And so one of the things that I was thinking about when I asked that question was, do you find that there's a big percentage of your students who go on to all male colleges, like going to a Morehouse, in terms of carrying on that tradition and experience? Because I've found that sometimes with some of my girls that I'm working with, they're a lot more open to looking at an all women's college,
So I would
so
do. Sorry, cut you off. I wouldn't be able to give you an exact like stat or number on it.
hmm
However, we have had multiple men attend Morehouse College. One of my best friends in
hmm
high school had quite a few men go. I would say
hmm
Urban Prep men, because of that, mentality of we're able to not
yeah.
be able to put in a box. A lot of us go any and everywhere. We're like spread out.
hmm
Into where I know one of our alums who's like, yeah, I graduated from this
hmm
school, but I studied abroad in China, so now I work in China.
yeah.
He was like an English teacher there,
hmm
and I was just like, imagine being from Chicago and then working in China.
yeah.
It's just completely different. So yeah, we
How different can you get?
yes. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, because some of the things that you said in terms of the experience there through high school really reminded me of what I've heard college students speak of in terms of their Morehouse experience as well. And every year I have young men who are applying to Morehouse. And I would say in this past year, probably even more so, just as we've all seen a trend with more students being interested in HBCUs than in past years. And that, kind of reminds me too, to just ask about, what do you say to the young men there about, all of the other things that are going on outside of the schoolhouse, especially a lot of the racial profiling and other tragedies that have happened? I mean, how do you address that and still give them that sense of encouragement and hope and ability to, that resilience and ability to keep on?
So I'll speak from my personal experience. I would say that
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the men who were here when I talked to them, they allowed me to actually speak and understand, like, well, like to conceptualize and say, like, well, what would you do if this was
Mm-hmm.
to happen to you, or how do you feel about
Yeah.
this? So we give the
Mm-hmm.
young men an opportunity to express themselves and understand,
Mm-hmm.
to actually conceptualize their own thought of thinking, whereas like saying, well, this is what you should do,
Yeah.
as someone who as a just trying to relate, but
Mm-hmm.
honestly understanding how the young men feel, and then just talking to them about our own
Mm-hmm.
experiences, is that because Urban Prep young men go everywhere, and when we come back and see each other, we're from everywhere, and we get to talk about, different experience of going to HBCU or going to a PWI, or going to a big college, or going to a small college, and then just really putting those things in front of them and allowing them to make their decisions, but also just show them what's the best decision for them. And just because a lot of times I would say I remember that a lot of young Black men that had never seen downtown Chicago, which is maybe like a 10-minute ride from the South Side, where it's like when you put these things in front of the young men, they're able to, conceptualize those things for themselves. As we always say, like, the youth is the future, and that those young men are able to create their own ideas and respond to those things, or even go on to do their own research and then come together. And a lot of that is also spoke about within our classrooms, within the mornings, of just understanding what it means to be a Black man, and understanding what it means to maybe respond how you want to, but maybe not. That may not be the best situation. So we just have those ongoing conversations about what it means to honestly be a Black man, but also what's going on around us.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, what is the school year going to look like for you this upcoming year? Because this, I've been saying that a lot lately, that this back to school year isn't like any other. And so what does it look like for Urban Prep Academies?
I would say we're still currently working on that, just with everything going on within the city of Chicago, and trying to abide by the rules that the city and the state are going to put out.
Yeah. Okay. Short and sweet.
Sorry.
Nothing else to say about it. Yeah, I get that. And that's how a lot of us, are opening up this year. It has to be within the guidelines of safety for the city and the state. So yeah, that's good. That's good. Tell us a little bit about, what was the school year like last year for students?
So we had a hybrid program, which we called Hip Up, where
Hip Up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So hybrid UP, where the young men would choose if they wanted to come in or not. And when they would come into the building, it was more so for support. So social emotional support, tech support, making sure they're able to get those extra office hours in, for just like maybe one day a week, and each grade level would come in one day per week. And just so that the young men could really, take a break sometimes from just being at home and working, and actually getting to see people, being socially distant, wearing our masks, staying, keeping our hands clean. So that's more so how our previous school year went.
You touched on this social emotional piece. I found that to be very important, significant, especially in this past year. What were some of the support and services you offered in that regard?
Okay, so we honestly, I think I may have just like skipped over that, but that's honestly just a part of our regular day, in terms of the school day, where we have a class, which looks very much like an advisory to some classes, to some other schools, but we call it Pride, where the young men get to express, how they're feeling, or maybe then learn different ways to react, and understand like what are triggers for them, or understanding ways to calm down. So we very much have a whole curriculum and class catered to social emotional learning for the young men, as we found is definitely big for just us as Black men to really, speak about our traumatic experiences.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What does this successful young man at Urban Prep Academy look like? What are the qualities of them in terms of just kind of helping some of our parents out there who may be considering a school such as yours? What are the qualities that
I would
you
say
look for?
Urban Prep young man, or the idea of an Urban Prep young man, he's a young man who understands that he's being molded and still growing. We have our 8 core values, resilience. A young man has to understand that in life you're going to face things that may knock you down, but you have to always be resilient. Urban Prep young man has integrity, understanding like you have to be, true to yourself, and always be truthful and it's always, you can always tell someone's grade their integrity on what they're doing when people are not looking. A Urban Prep young man shares solidarity with his young man and with his community. Understanding he's his brother's keeper. He's also Urban Prep young man is exceptional. Understanding that anything that he do, he's going to put his best foot forth. He's also selflessness. Definitely helping his brothers, helping himself, and helping others around him. He has faith in himself and in his career, and that he's going to be able to go to college and do well there. He also is accountable. Sorry, I'm remembering all of this off the top of my head, but he's also accountable. So he has accountability for what he's doing. And also an Urban Prep young man is just relentless. Going hard every day and trying to, break these barriers that society tries to put around us black men, trying to put his best foot forth and just be the best person he can be. So those are 8 core values of resilience, integrity, solidarity, exceptionality, selflessness, faith, accountability, and relentlessness.
And, I think that, as you were talking about them, I think that, there are definitely some young men who start in 9th grade that don't have all of those qualities, but that's what they leave with in terms of your, just as long as they're open to being molded in that way, they can leave with all of those, even if they are a diamond in the rough and don't necessarily start that way. And so that's good. That's awesome. Now, I know that, the majority of your students coming in at 9th grade, but what about the young man who comes at 10th or 11th grade? Is there a seat for them, or?
Yes, we definitely take young men who transfer in, and they're able to get acquainted with other Urban Prep young men very well. I remember here when people when young men transfer to the school, we was just like, welcome to the brotherhood, or, let me help you. Everyone's very much like able to, we lend our hands to our brothers and understand like that goal that we all share of getting to college and getting our degrees. That's like our most important thing. So young men are able to transfer into Urban Prep.
Awesome. Well, Dashawn, thank you so much. I know we were kind of going back and forth. It was just like, are we still going to do this? And it's like, yeah, we're still going to do this, because I know that after school gets started, everything else, your weeks are going to be, your days are going to be so full.
Yes.
And you don't have to worry about me texting you early morning.
No problem. I was definitely just worried, like, are we gonna make it on the same time? Are we in the same time zone? But yeah.
We did it. So thank you. Now, how can our viewers get in touch with you or connect with Urban Prep Academies? You want to give us that information?
So if you want, you can definitely contact me at D Cribbs, so DCRIBBS at urbanprep.org. I've definitely answer all my emails, so yeah, you can contact me there.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so very much. Oops. Oh my goodness. That's what happens when you're live, right?
Yeah. I was also saying you can also reach out to us on our website at urbanprep.org. But yes.
See, I've been talking about how I need a producer for the show, because trying to do all this myself, it just doesn't work.
Understand.
But Dashawn, thank you so very much for coming on. I appreciate you. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you when I come back to Chicago too. Definitely, I'll be there soon. All righty. Well, thank you all so much for joining me. And this is it's okay. It's okay, right? So it doesn't have to be perfect, but it's always good every time. So I thank you so much for joining me today on Keep Calm for Moms. And we will pick up tomorrow with talking about juniors and what it looks like for juniors to go back to school this year. And so I just can't wait to see you. Also, too, I will drop in the chat the link to get the College Prep Survival Toolkit. That's a real good tool to use as you head into this new school year and get ready to just jump start it in a positive way and really just do it well. So I thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, same time.